cross-continental panel discussion, and we will finally close this session of this morning from 1:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker of the opening session to provide introductory remarks. The representative of the African Union Commission, Department of Economic Development, Trade, Industry and Mining, Madam Ram Osman Omar. Madam Ram, over to you.
Thank you very much, Bernice, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, my connection is very weak, so I will not be able to use my camera. Your Excellency, Minister of Industry and Trade of the United Republic of Tanzania, Professor Kidia Mukubo. Your Excellency, CEO of Auda Nepal, Dr. Ibrahim Hassan Mayaki. Your Excellency, Japanese Ambassador of Tanzania, Mr. Sinishikoto, distinguished representative of various institutional partners in attendance today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's an honor for me to be able to address you as the representative of the African Union Commission in this opening address of the 2021 Africa Kaizen Annual Conference. Africa's experience with the Kaizen method now spans many decades. Botswana first introduced Kaizen in the early 19th, followed by Egypt, Tunisia, Ethiopia, Zambia, Tanzania, and many others since. In Ethiopia, at the request of the government of Ethiopia, a Kaizen unit was created in Ethiopia's Ministry of Industry and Trade as far back as 2009. Indeed, the African Union Commission itself is a strong supporter of Kaizen, having worked to strengthen capacity and improve services in a number of key areas within the Commission during the implementation of the project of capacity building for Kaizen implementation in the African Union Commission that ran from 2015 to 2017. This project helped the Commission to improve professional capacity and make it more responsive to member states and stakeholders. We continue to see the benefits of our member states who have adopted Kaizen initiatives. In particular, we observe that Kaizen is an excellent entry point towards Africa's equitable and resilient industrial development for the strengthening of industries that contribute to poverty reduction and inclusive income growth. According to the African Union Africa Economic Outlook 2020 report, despite the continued negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Africa's economy is forecasted to revive in 2021 and beyond. However, challenges in the quality and productivity of African products and services still needs to be addressed if we are to ensure that the economic revival is sustained and over the long term. Productivity has always been recognized and accepted as the underlying key factor for competitiveness and the driver of growth. Ladies and gentlemen, many factors contribute to productivity. Key among these include knowledge, skills, and attitude. Workers become more productive when they are highly motivated, and that high motivation derives from good working conditions and healthy, safe working environment. Improving productivity is the most important requirement for long-term business success. It's the art of doing more with less, of minimizing cost and maximizing value. Some of the key outcomes of a successfully implemented productivity movement include, inter alia, creating awareness of the role of productivity in driving economic growth and creating jobs. cultivating a culture of productivity and empowering stakeholders and ordinary citizens with the skill to drive productivity. Changing mindsets is what the productivity movement is all about. Experience from the Asia-Pacific region have shown that the existence of non-profit organizations working to drive productivity in the region contributed significantly to achieve the highest economic growth rates in the world over the last half century. In Africa, we need to dedicate ourselves to improving the quality and productivity of our products and services, and in particular to strengthening our institutions to build and steer the discipline and strong work ethic of our people towards boosting productivity and growing our economies. Ladies and gentlemen, our government institutions, Kaizen institutes, units, and national productivity organizations are all expected to play a critical role in leading the productivity movement in their respective countries. The role of these entities are key for the following reasons: high productivity packaging with sound distributional and development policies in the most effective avenue for poverty alleviation. The more productive an enterprise becomes, the more income it can generate and save for new investment and the creation of new jobs. There is a great potential in promoting decent working conditions and quality of life than legislative mechanisms alone. In conclusion, I wish to express a word of appreciation to Taika and our Nepal for driving the Africa Kaizen initiative and for working to realize its objectives. On behalf of the Commissioner of Economic Development, Trade, Industry and Mining, I would like to express the support of the AUC for the work underway in the different countries that is helping to drive Africa's Kaizen quality and productivity improvement activities. I wish you a successful deliberation over the next 3 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Barani, for your very clear and eloquent messages for the meeting today. We thank you for your ongoing support and all that we are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now hand over to my co-MC, Mr. Taji, who will take us forward in the next 2 addresses for the opening session.
Right, thank you, Dr. Bernice. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I please welcome for his address, the Excellency, Mr. Shinichi Goto, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Embassy of Japan in Tanzania. Karibu sana, Your Excellency. We hope to get His Excellency's feed any minute now. All right, we might be having a technical difficulty. And so it would not hurt if we move on to the next one. I'm not getting any indication that he's coming on any minute. Are we getting it?
Sorry, Mr. Taji? Yes, we can hear you. I think there was a technical difficulty. If I can hand over to you now for the next 2 addresses in the opening session.
Excellent. Your Excellency, Mr. Shinichi Goto, welcome. We're ready to listen to your address. Karibu-san.
Okay. Can you hear?
Yes.
Hola, William Morena, Deputy Minister of Prime Minister of Investment. Honorable Agosti, Regional Commissioner of Dar es Salaam, Dr. Ibrahim Aslan Mayaki, Chief Executive Officer of the African Union Development Agency, Nepal, Ms. Sano Keiko, Lecturer General of Economic Development Department, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA headquarters, members of the and the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, JICA Kaizen experts and the Kaizen trainers, chief executives from African and private sectors, representatives from manufacturing enterprises, event organizers and facilitators, media members, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, Avarita Suzuki for Africa, and Mokatun for Japan. It is a great honor for me to get this opportunity to give my remarks on the opening of this Africa Kaizen Annual Conference 2021. At the outset, we should all remember that in July 2018, the first Africa Kaizen Annual Conference was held in Durban, South Africa. It is indeed a special privilege and honor for Tanzania to host this fourth annual event. I'd like to thank and congratulate Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and African Union Development Agency, New Partnership for Africa's Development, Nepal, and the government of the United Republic of Tanzania for successfully organizing this event. Especially because we are now living in difficult and different times after the COVID-19 pandemic. For this reason, even this event has been structured as a hybrid of online conference and on-site events. The main theme of this event is opportunities to accelerate industrialization and trade in Africa. In this context, I have to mention that on the first the African Continental Free Trade Area AFCFTA agreement on May. The AFCFTA agreement was signed under the leadership of the African Union based on the African Union Vision Agenda 2063, which is the blueprint and the master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse of the future. Also, it will take rather long time for the AFCFTA to work as a joint single market to the full extent. This is really a historical challenge. I hear the objectives of AFCFTA, among others, includes to boost trade among African countries, create a large single and free market, with free movement of labor and capital, improve business environment, and subsequently bring economic growth to African countries. Once fully operational, the AFCFTA will establish a market for 1.3 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. From the perspective of my past experiences of working in similar trade agreements in countries in several regions such as EEP, the RCEP, etc., I am convinced that it is very important for AFCFTA to be efficiently and effectively implemented and business friendly for the private companies, including the small and medium-sized enterprise (SMEs), in order to bring beneficial and positive impact to the African continent and beyond. Despite of the COVID-19 pandemic, the African economies have so far shown robustness. It is pleasing to know that the future prospects of the Africa is still great, as it is predicted that in 2022, the continent's GDP will be grown by 3.6%, according to the AFP African Economic Outlook 2021. For the African continent to enjoy even more success there is a need to nurture the SMEs and encourage industrial development, as it has been well related with the African Union Vision Agenda 2063. Here, I would also like to emphasize that African countries can learn from Japan on the importance of the SMEs and Nigeria's skills for them. Japan's economic growth was mostly brought by the SMEs, and Japan's advantage is the presence of numerous strong SMEs that support its highly advanced industries such as automobile manufacturing. In Japan, there are around 4 million companies, of which no more than 11,000 are large enterprises. That means 99.7% of all Japanese firms are SMEs. The number of people employed by each category of business is about 40 million at large enterprises and 30 million at SMEs, which means that accounts for 70% of employment. And historically, I hear that if one examines Japan's SMEs policies back in the Meiji era, the age of modernization, one can find that Japan was not behind the rest of the world today. Today, in the age of sustainable development, there is a need for discipline of quality and productivity improvement, EPI, which is what Kaizen is all about. Therefore, Kaizen is needed now more than ever before. Of course, the Kaizen philosophy goes beyond the manufacturing industry, since it focuses on gradually improving productivity by involving all the employees and by making the work environment more efficient. Kaizen is not just a method, but it's a way to motivate people to change their mindset to seek full performance of their abilities. However, Japan sees Africa as a business partner. This was emphasized in the 37th School International Conference for African Development, TICAD 7, that was held in August 2019. TICAD 7 showcased several areas of change and hallmarks of a maturing development relationship between Japan and Africa. In the conference, Japan insisted on the relationship change from the traditional official development assistance, ODA, towards promoting investment, improving business environment that foster partnership between Japan and Africa. Indeed, the main theme of TICAD 7 was advancing African development through people, technology, and innovation. Therefore, Japan will focus more in promoting investment from Japanese private companies, including SFE, to form a working relationship with African countries by respecting their African ownership and supporting their efforts in the spirit of knowledge. As you know, next year, the 8th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 8, will be held in African continent, Tunisia, to strengthen its business partnership with the African countries. In that sense, I think this African Kaizen Annual Conference has come at the very right time. As the world fights against the COVID-19 pandemic, one lesson that we should get is that digital technologies have helped to keep businesses to stay afloat. The COVID-19 pandemic has given the world a reminder that lifestyle can change at any moment. Therefore, in this event, I expect more presentations that focus on streamlining Kaizen, PPI with digital technologies. Digital technologies have a huge potential to help SMEs to survive difficult times by providing wider customer reach, cost reduction, and opportunities to improve their product sales and profits. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the participants who gave us. This conference is a venue to give you a beneficial learning path and useful lesson. I sincerely hope that today's session will be a precious moment to raise awareness of the spirit of Kaizen for all baristas from every corner of the African continent. This year, for the very first time, Tanzania gets the opportunity to host this event. I hear many excellent companies from Tanzania and other countries will participate and provide us with their presentations based upon their achievement, which will be insightful, especially to the newcomers. As ambassador to the host country, Tanzania, I do hope that this conference will be an occasion to spread the Kaizen spirit all over Tanzania and throughout the whole African continent. Congratulations, and thank you very much for listening. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Asante. His Excellency Mr. Shinichi Goto, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Embassy of Japan in Tanzania. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your great insight and emphasis on key values of productivity. Thank you for raising our Kaizen spirit. We are truly honored. And now, may I please welcome our chief guest to address us at site and, of course, online, wherever you are in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with your hands Minister of State, Prime Minister's Office, Investment, Honorable William Tate Olenasha, our Deputy Minister. Karibu sana. Please join me at the podium.
Mheshimiwa Shinichi Goto,
Honorable Shinichi Goto, Ambassador of Japan in Tanzania, Honorable Jakete Mwogelo, Temeke District Commissioner, representing the Honorable Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner, Dr. Ibrahim Asane Mayeki, Chief Executive Officer of UDA NEPAD, Ms. Keiko Sano, CEO of JICA, Mr. Foma Yamomora, Resident Representative of JICA in Tanzania, Administrative Secretaries and representatives of the Permanent Secretaries present, Chief Executives of public institutions and senior officials of the current government, other representatives, stakeholders, owners, and chief executives of private companies, members of the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you in the name of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the reply is, let's implement Kaizen together. First and foremost, I would like to begin by thanking the Almighty God, the most merciful, for giving us all good health and enabling us to meet in this great and rare opportunity during this international event. And secondly, let me take this opportunity to convey the special greetings of Her Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, who is closely following this conference and a staunch believer in the Kaizen philosophy. This is a very important event, and Her Excellency the President is very much aware, and she would like to greet all the participants that are following this event, wherever you may be. Dear participants, I am opening this conference today on behalf of the Minister of Industry and Trade, Professor Kitila Mkumbo. Unfortunately, was not able to participate, but had planned to do so, but an emergency occurred. And the Honorable Minister was also representing the Vice President, so I'd like to convey the greetings from the Vice President that was supposed to open this meeting. So I'd like to also convey the greetings from the Minister in charge, Professor, that is also following this event through the virtual platform Zoom, in spite of the fact that I'm here representing him. I would also like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all the participants for having answered the call to participate in the Kaizen conference in Africa for the year 2021. For those of you who have traveled and have come to Tanzania for this symposium, I would like to say to you, welcome to Tanzania and feel at home. Tanzania is your home away from home. In addition, I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the organizers who in one way or another have made this event possible. In particular, I would like to express my sincere gratitude through the government of Japan, through Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Japan Productivity Center, JPC, and the African Union Development Agency for their funding for the Kaizen activities in Africa and for this year's Kaizen conference. There's an interference. We have been told by the organizers that we were forced to organize an event that is a hybrid event, meaning a mixture of virtual, meaning Zoom, and the conventional face-to-face meeting. And this is due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But this shows us that in spite of this pandemic, life goes on. So I would like to congratulate you for this innovation of organizing a hybrid conference that has been run virtually and also physically on the conventional platform. As we have heard, we have participants from all corners of the world, about 16 countries of the world, some participating from Japan, and we are here seated in Dar es Salaam, and we are part of the meeting. So this meeting brings together many more participants than those that are here present. I've been informed that in the conference we have about 100, but those that are actually following the meeting are many. So I'm thanking, and I would like to congratulate those of you that have come with this innovation, allowed us to overcome this challenge of the pandemic of COVID-19. And as I said, life has to go on. Work needs to continue. And that has been the position of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania since we have been grappling with this pandemic. And as you have seen, we have really succeeded because many nations had their economy in tatters. But for countries on the southern continent of Africa, in the SADC region, our economy is still quite high. And this is due to the fact that we had prepared ourselves to tackle this pandemic. So the fact that we were able to organize this event through the hybrid method, I think this is an innovation by the organizers, and I thank you for this idea, or coming up with this idea. Why is it important for us to meet? I think you've been explained and you've been told about the Kaizen philosophy. I think we've heard the previous speakers, those that spoke before me. They tried to provide an in-depth explanation on the philosophy. I will not dwell on that. For most of us, this is a philosophy that by its name, it might appear to be a foreign philosophy, but if we take the reality into context, this is a very normal philosophy. The best way of succeeding by organizing better, by reducing cost, having a better management of time, and better usage of resources. As it was said, you have 3 days to have an in-depth discussion, so I will not take too long. Just to say that the government of the United Republic of Tanzania is a staunch believer and has joined the Kaizen program, believing that this will allow us to attain the objectives that we have set for ourselves as a nation, as a country. Experts from the Ministry of Industry have informed me that Tanzania is among the 16 nations in Africa that are taking part in this program. Out of them, 9 countries from the SADC region, 2 from the East African region. And I've also been informed that there are normally competitions that are run, and in the last competition, Tanzania were able to win. let us put our hands together for A to Z and a garage known as, what is the name? Those representing industry department, what is the name of the? It's Revolution Garage. I think we were able to win the Kaizen prize together with the A to Z factory that is producing mosquito nets in Arusha. So I think we are evolving quite well. And I've also been informed that even this year we have presented 2 companies in these competition, and I wish them all the best and pray to the Almighty God, because I know in the manner that we have prepared ourselves, we might also win. And as I said, we need to put Kaizen in the context for Tanzanians that are following us through the media, or those that are going to read the newspapers, to have a better understanding. And to do that, let's look at our economy at the moment and see what we can do and how will Kaizen assist us in that matter. Our economics information or statistics tells us that the status during the year 2020, the National Economic Status Report shows that Tanzania has grown in the average of 4.8%. And taking into account that we're in this pandemic, we have to say that this is a decline because we were a bit higher. But as I said, if you put, you compare our region with the world, we are still among the best performers. But if we dissect and proceed by sector, this 4.8% is largely driven by the agricultural sector by 26.9%, construction sector by 14.4%, and trade by 8.7%. And today we are talking about trade. We are saying Kaizen is everything. You can apply it even in your homestead. But in the context of the event we are having today, we are going to dwell in the trade industry. We have been told by experts that for the year 2019, the industry sector contributed at a rate of 4.8% to our economy. But in 2020, it declined by 0.1, so the contribution of the sector is roughly 8.4. What was the cause of this decline is, as I said, the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, taking into account the deteriorating global economic growth, we have to put in place strategies for us to rise and move forward. And that is where the Kaizen philosophy is seen or comes to play. And that is why we are saying that in this workshop, for us having the opportunity of hosting this symposium is the greatest opportunity, because it gives us the impetus for us to continue and to apply a philosophy that will allow us to move forward even further. So how, as a nation, we need to sit and see how can we expand and foster the productivity in the industry. We are all aware that if you want to increase the GDP, there are many ways, but the most certain way of doing so is to, for instance, if you have industry, you will create employment. You will also create a tax platform. So we need to increase productivity and to improve productivity for our industry, because this will contribute enormously in revenues. It is my hope that the Kaizen philosophy will allow us to overcome some challenges related to productivity in the industry, so that this sector continues to be one of the main pillars in the economic growth of our nation. Dear participants, our government recognizes its responsibility to foster a conducive environment for trade and investment to make the country more competitive in production and other economic activities. As the Deputy Minister, Prime Minister's Office in charge of investment, I can tell you that in our office, our department, we feel that investment is the present and the future of our economy. In the past, we talked a lot about increasing or developing the agricultural sector, etc., the industry. But in order to do that, is to strengthen investment so that the private sector may grow, and that is how we are going to be able to develop our tax base. And that is why Her Excellency the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, identified investment and strengthening of the private sector as one of the main pillars in ensuring of the economic growth of our country. So we believe that the Kaizen philosophy will be of much help in ensuring that we're able to attain our objectives to attract investors and therefore ensuring of our economic growth. Now, the government, as it is well known, does not invest it by itself. We like to leave this to the private sector. The main task of the government is to put in place directives, policies, but also to put in place a conducive environment so that it is possible to invest, so that people are enticed to invest into the industries, and so that these industry and factories are run in a productive manner, and to provide a good tax base to ensure that we have infrastructures in place, electricity, etc. In a summary, is to say that the trade and industry environment is conducive for us to have competitive product within the country or even outside the country. I would also like to inform you that for the time being, in the aim of putting in place conducive environment, the government has started to rectify policies and procedures and laws in order to have a stronger private sector, but also to ensure that our industries are more productive. For instance, there is the Tanzanian policy, consumer protection policy is also under review. There's also the national protection, national property policy is under review. There's also national policy which is also under review. Similarly, the 2027 investment policy is also under review. We're also preparing the national production policy. All this will be useful not only to align with the Kaizen philosophy, but also to ensure that the private and trade is able to grow, since we have done away with the obstacles that have been a challenge for quite a long time. Okay, in spite of all that, the government still needs to continue to make efforts in order to ensure that the Kaizen philosophy is translated into our day-to-day actions through the ministries, through the various departments, government departments. And some of the areas where the government is going to continue putting more emphasis is on improving the industrial infrastructure, but also to improve the research in matters to do with the industry, but also to strengthen knowledge development, but also value addition in our agricultural products in order to meet the expectation of the market, be at the regional, the national level. We are going to continue to do all that, not only to align with the philosophy, but it also because we believe that is the only way to have a very competitive economy or industrial economy. We are also going to continue to work together with stakeholders towards the Kaizen philosophy in order to ensure productivity and quality in the local production for the framework for quality and productive improvement in the manufacturing sector, FKM 2020, as well as coordinating a conducive environment, innovation, but also user-friendly technology for SMEs. Dear participants, by recognizing that no nation is an island, our government plans to continue and strengthen the collaboration between nations, between the region, in order to expand on the opportunities of investment and to attract investment in the country. And based on this, our country is about to the African Continental Free Trade Area is about to be signed, which will open access and opportunity for roughly 1.2 potential customers in the region. Dear participants, this Kaizen symposium is taking place in our country in a very right time. This philosophy is still very weak. I was speaking with the directors of the Ministry of Trade, and I wanted them to find a Kiswahili word to express Kaizen. They were saying, no, we should use the same word because that is the philosophy itself. And after providing to me the meaning of this philosophy, I realized that this is a philosophy that would be useful to anyone, even at your own personal level, how to properly use the resources such as time, such as people, not throwing away waste, to wake up on time. How do you manage your time? So it basically on how one organizes oneself in order to ensure that you are productive in whatever you're doing. And as a government, through the Ministry of Trade and Investment, and Ministry of Finance and Planning and other institutions under this ministry, we have decided to put in place programs in order to ensure the development of philosophy, the Kaizen philosophy in the country. We want to have Kaizen embedded in all the ministries, be it livestock, agriculture, industry. This is a philosophy that we want to see embedded in at all level. The aim is to ensure that the Kaizen philosophy is integrated in the various national policies so that it may also assist us in bringing development to our nation. Therefore, dear participants, it is my belief that this symposium, not only will it provide us a better understanding in terms of the Kaizen philosophy and its modus operandis, but we believe that it will also help us in raising awareness and motivate people to have a mindset in their way of working and in the implementation of policies and programs that have been stipulated by the government. What are we saying? We believe that after this meeting, this symposium should not merely be a shop talk, a place where we'll come wearing our suits and have cups of coffees and teas. We expect that this symposium will remind us of our obligations within our own private institutions, because it's not only the government, for us to have a new perspective, a new mindset, and to see how can one in your own private industry ensure of better productivity by reducing cost, by having better time management, by motivating your workforce or employees, by using other alternative resources. How can you properly use, for instance, electricity? Because those that have applied this philosophy are far ahead. For instance, I can give you the example of Japan. This is a country that has only started afresh after the Second World War. Before that, they had a lot of issues, but they carried on with the Kaizen philosophy. Everything is now led and run by with the mindset of how can I be more productive. Everyone is accountable. Everyone knows their responsibility. They know that when I'm in the office, I am not supposed to just sit and play with my WhatsApp or the Instagram, but how can I accomplish my responsibilities within the day, within the time frame? This will assist you not only in government institutions, but even private institutions. If you're running your business in Kariako and you open your business at 1 p.m., and whereas you have customers looking for products from 8 in the morning. So this is a normal philosophy. This is a day-to-day philosophy that one should apply in their daily lives. Dear participants, the theme of this meeting, of this symposium, the Kaizen symposium for the year 2021, and I think that is the theme of our symposium: opportunities to accelerate industrialization and trade in Africa, to streamline Kaizen, which what we would refer as quality and productivity improvement, the QPI, with digital technologies, startups, small and medium-sized enterprise development, and homegrown economic activities in Africa, mutual learning processes, expanding network, conveying key message to African decision makers. It is a very long theme, but I think it goes hand in hand with the times in which we find ourselves. And I'm putting now in English, so I will not interpret that. When I look at the young journalists here present in the conference, I think they will be very much touched by this theme. For instance, how we can see the use of technology in the media industry, how it has brought about change in the day-to-day lives. There are people that are now self-employed because of the new technology by using these online startups. Because now we have blogs. We have also mobile money transfer. There are so many businesses that are run through the new technology. We are saying that this is the future of industry. That's why we need to see the youth fully involved. If you are really accountable, if you're really looking for productivity, that is when one should apply the Kaizen philosophy. That is when how can a person improve our lives? How can one wake up on time? This will be very useful for everyone. I think during this symposium there will be many presentations, and you'll be able to hear of many examples of those that have succeeded in elsewhere by applying this philosophy. Let me take this opportunity. My speech may not be as important as what will follow, but just to say, or suffice to say, and to call upon all the participants to use the time that has been given to us during these 2 days to engage into in-depth discussions and debate on this philosophy on improving productivity and productivity for the betterment of our nation. And as I said, for issues like how to better manage human resources. There's 10 of you at work. Do you really need 10 people? How do you manage time? Do you manage the resources and infrastructure that are under you? All these are important things to consider in the aim of expanding on this philosophy and applying this philosophy in order to be productive. And before I close, my speech, I would like to also call upon you. It is possible that many of us have not been able to participate in this symposium or this meeting, be it on the virtual platform, or some of you might not have been able to come here physically, but those of you that are here, you should be the ambassadors of this philosophy. You need to be catalyst wherever you go, and speak of those that have succeeded, the countries that have succeeded by better management of time, of resources, where you have the human force or the human resources are better put to use. There's no theft, there's no they're good at managing the resources, the environment, etc., etc. So you need to be the ambassadors and tell others what you see as a normal behavior has been the success of others. We have so many resources, but we need to organize ourselves in terms of mindset in order to be able to bring about development and changes, and to bring about sustainable development in our country. Dear participants, after saying that, after those very few words, I would like now to officially declare that the Kaizen Conference in Africa 2021 is officially open, and I wish all the participants fruitful deliberation, and I thank you for your kind attention. I would like to ask the high table to stand, please. Let us put our hands together. We are now going. May we all rise as the high table leaves the platform. As I take the VP through the exhibitions, thank you very much. Allow me to guide through the exhibition the members of the panel.
Okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to our distinguished guests who provided interventions into the opening session. Asante sana. We are very privileged to have had your interventions. And now we would like to move over to the keynote address, the keynote speech, which will be given by Dr. Ibrahim Asane Mayaki, CEO of the African Union Development Agency. Dr. Mayaki, please, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Bernice. Do you hear me?
Loud and clear, thank you.
Perfect. So let me recognize Minister of State William Tatewale Nacha, Ambassador Shinichi Goto, the African Union Commission representative, and all the distinguished representatives of various institutions and partners in attendance today, all protocols observed. So I would like, first of all, to express my sincere appreciation to the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, JICA, and all Africa Kaizen stakeholders for the kind participation in this hybrid edition of the 6th Africa Kaizen Annual Conference and Awards. The central theme which was chosen for this conference, opportunities to accelerate industrialization and trade in Africa, streamlining Kaizen quality and productivity improvement with digital technologies, startups, MSME development, and homegrown economic activities in Africa reflects the imperative to address the ongoing negative impacts of COVID-19